Lomachenko? Or
no, that was
Amanda.
beautiful.
Amanda Nunes?
Yeah, Amanda Nunes.
Yes, I did.
Do you think if those were two, so at the end in between the fourth and fifth round, when
Raquel Pennington wanted to
Raquel
quit?
Pennington said, I want out, and her team said no, that it would have been different if it was two male fighters?
I think it would have been.
I think it would have been as well.
Yeah.
One, I believe that had her team let her out, she would have regretted it the rest of her life. The failure didn't happen by her team there in between the fourth and the fifth round. It happened in preparation, getting her ready for that. Because I think that those words would never be uttered out of my mouth in the middle of the fight. It would be my team begging and pleading for them to end the fight. I don't know if there was a route for her to win that fight, if there was a path to victory for her. I don't think that there was. And I think she felt that. But I think the journalists, the MMA media attacked her coaches unfairly. One, because she's a girl. I think that played a part in it. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, this girl fighter in between 4 and 5, she's just a fighter, first of all.
Right.
And her coaches know her better than anybody. I'm not defending what they did or attacking them. What I'm saying is you're not on either side of that fence, and you've never had your feet on that canvas and felt the fury and pain of defeat and the sweetness of success. And the worst thing ever is regret. And I have...
You feel like she would have regretted it, even though
Absolutely.
you agree that there was no path to victory.
Yep.
I think Amanda Nunes she was surging, she was destroying her nose was shattered, she was getting beaten down, and she didn't have anything left.
True.
And so she's like, I want out. You know, Big John McCarthy and I talked about this yesterday, and he feels that the corner did a big disservice to her by letting her take a beating in that fifth round. That every fight takes something out of you, and some fights take more out of you. And there comes a point in time where there's a tipping point fight, and that could have been the tipping point round, that she might not ever be the same again. And he was saying that, you know, you've got to understand that you only have a certain amount of holes that you can punch in your ticket. And if she, especially when you're talking about someone who's
but that ticket's
tough,
the ticket's a fight card.
right?
That's the ticket.
Yes,
It's not. She's not a janitor.
right.
Yeah,
But
she
could
only has
live to fight again, or be beaten down so badly in that fight that she's never the same physically.
I mean, we how many times have we talked about this with Robbie Lawler or Michael Bisping?
But it might be the case with Robbie Lawler. I mean, if you look at Robbie Lawler's last fight with Rafael Dos Anjos, he didn't really look like the Robbie Lawler of old. Now, could that be because of Dos Anjos? It very well could have been. Dos Anjos is a beast. No question about it.
Is it our business to tell him when he's done?
It's not. It's not our business to tell him what he's done.
It's his ticket.
But it's his ticket. What if he wants to quit? If he says he wants out, like she said she wanted out. Like there's certain times in a fight where someone says they want it. Like, here's a good example. Do you remember Gerald McClellan when he fought Nigel Benn?
Yeah.
This is the fight that put him into this catatonic state and bleeding on the brain. People were criticizing him because he took a knee. People were saying, like, the commentators were saying, what is he doing? Like, why is he doing this? Well, he fucking knew something was wrong. And he took a knee and then blacked out and then eventually had bleeding on the brain. Like, Gerald McClellan was a beast. I mean, world champion boxer, but he knew something was wrong. Now, if Raquel Pennington had said, I want out, and her coach said, no, go back in there, and then she goes back in there and collapses and has bleeding in the brain and winds up in the same state as Gerald McClellan, then people would be going crazy.
Yeah.
I know your point because that's the kind of fighter you are. That's the kind of fighter you were. You were a die on your sword guy. That's what you always did.
Yeah.
And you've had some fucking amazing fights because of that attitude and that never quit mentality where you were in there to win or die trying.
God, I'm so scared of that regret, though.
I understand it.
You know, and I don't know if all the things that I have to, because I have, you know, like, mentally checking out at the end of the Yoel Romero fight. You know, I regret that to the day I die, that I didn't stick, because I'm looking at Dana anticipating my money. You know, I'm already looking at him and be like, you know, you're going to pay me for this one. This is one hell of a fight, right? Right. Thinking about me destroying Michael Bisping in this. That's what I was already thinking about. I already left the ring. So I have that regret that like nags at me. I can't even imagine what the regret would be like for me not to go out. All my I don't have post-traumatic stress, but all the things that nag at me, it's the things that I didn't do, and it's the regrets.
But aren't those things what make you better? The realization of the mistakes that you made, those are the lessons. And that's what makes you a stronger person. I mean, you don't get stronger by doing the right thing every single time. Part of getting stronger is by fucking up and having this horrible feeling that you fucked up and realizing you never want to feel that again.
Yeah. Yes. That's how a muscle and that's how a brain works is you damage it and it comes back stronger.
Yeah.
And I think that's how the human condition is to a degree. But like the hurry to failure, the rush to failure, or that's how you get better. But I want that point where I'm going to fail to be so unattainable and so hard to reach, where if I ever reach that point of failure, and I every time I go to the gym and I'm training on it, and I want you to come and hang out with us one day if you ever make it back to Austin, and we try and find the quitter in each other every single time that we train. Every time. And that's what we say. Like, we even have workouts called Find the Quitter. And we have guys, professional athletes from all sorts of sports come in and join us, and they will quit in the middle of one of our just strength and conditioning workouts. And it's because my little group, Shane, Juan, myself, we are looking for that failure, and it's getting so hard to find. Just like shooting, I'm looking for that miss, because that miss is that opportunity that I'm going to get better. I'm looking at that rep that I just can't get, or that 5:30 mile one more time, because that's going to be the opportunity for growth. So I agree with you, but it also has to be hard to reach, because failure should never be easy.
So you think her being able to say, I want out, that she still had enough left to keep going?
I don't know. I think only her and her corner are going to know that.
I would say that I agree with you, except I have so much respect for her. And I think she's one of the toughest girls in MMA, one of the toughest people in MMA. She's a fucking animal, Raquel Pennington. She really is tough. I'm a big fan of hers. When someone like her says, I'm out, I'm done, I just think she's beaten down so badly that she doesn't physically have the ability to fight anymore. And then she went out and proved that in the 5th round and took a ferocious beating. But she agrees with you. She agrees with her coaches. She agrees. She says now, after the fact, that her coaches were right and that she had hit this moment of weakness.
If I sit on the stool and I told my coaches, I want out, I got Greg Jackson, Winklejohn, Nick Palmisano all sitting there, and they let me out, I would hate them forever. I would regret my decision, and I would be mad at them forever. And they're some of my best friends now.
What if right after you said that, you collapsed and they took you to the hospital and they had to open up your skull to alleviate pressure on your brain because you were bleeding internally and your legs stopped working and you're in a wheelchair like Gerald McClellan trying to relive the past through distant, foggy memories?
That would be less than ideal.
Yeah, that'd be less than ideal.
For sure.
Well, I understand what you're saying. It's like the balance of the physical limitations of the human body and then the limitations of the mind and the mind's willingness to find a way out.
Yeah.